Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now today I've got a very special guest. It has been a little while since me and Doug have had a nice chat about Arsenal, about Liverpool. So I thought, why not bring him on to chat about yesterday's game, Arsenal season, Liverpool season, the title race, of course. Doug, it's been a while since we've spoken. How are you doing? How are things? How is it feeling being a dad now? I know you had some amazing news.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It has felt like ages since we last did a video, um, but I'm doing very well. I'm doing very very well. And yes, being a dad is just amazing. And obviously, I'm having to sort of balance my sort of YouTube sort of videos now. But no, being a dad is absolutely fantastic, and I'd like to say I'm feeling a bit better from yesterday, but we'll get into it. But thank you very much for having me, and hello to all in the chat as well.
Oh, you're always very welcome to come on. And yeah, I thought we could touch on that first. I mean, obviously, it wasn't the best of performances from Liverpool, not a great result, but it's the next day. Looking back on it, how would you reflect on that performance from the team?
I think we got what we deserved. Nothing. I didn't think we started particularly well. I think in the first half, United could have been about 2-3 up. Um, I think it was basically a bit of luck that we managed to get back into the game. I know Endo had a goal ruled out narrowly for Salah's arm. I think it was offside. But I went into half time thinking we didn't deserve to be ahead at half time. And the more the second half went on, I had a feeling that it looked like we were the more team that was basically going for it. United looked a little bit tired, looked a little bit leggy. I
Mm,
thought in the second half, and then basically the moment of the match was the 5v2. We completely screwed that up. If we score that, I don't see United coming back from 3-1 down. Um, and moving into the extra time, I always had a feeling that something was gonna be happening. And look, we managed to get 3-2 in front with obviously Harvey Elliott yesterday. But after that, United just looked the more hungrier team in the end. And the one thing you don't do right at the end, basically put everyone forward and then have Connor Bradley on a 2v1 situation. And obviously, United win it in the very, very last kick of the game. But I kind of go away from that game thinking that, yes, we probably threw it away. But if you look back on the whole of the match, I
yeah.
think United deserved to win. I didn't think we deserved to go through. And obviously, good luck to them. Like, I guess commentary, fair play to them for coming back, because I think everyone kind of felt yesterday that was their cup final. Because I think their season, if they had lost that, it would have probably gone into a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah.
But fair play to Manchester United. I have to say, I think that's the best that they played all season. I'd have to say. Um,
Yeah.
it hurts, but we move on, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think obviously because Liverpool have got a lot going on, especially in Europa League, the league. I think it probably you've got other focuses as well. So I suppose for United they've probably only got that as a main focus as well. So I definitely think it might have meant a bit more to them yesterday. I did want to answer this question for you to answer it. How do you feel about Nunes? What were you feeling about him? Because I know some people haven't thought he's been as good as you expect them to be.
Yeah, I think this season, I think he's kind of settled down a little bit.
Mm,
Um, I think he's this season in particular, he's had a very good season.
yeah,
Um, and I think yesterday, you know, I think he'll need to learn after that, because the one thing I think we're told, if you've ever played football, never play a ball across your own sort of box or across the touchline. Yeah, it was a bit of a mistake because he played it straight to Bruno and then obviously played McTominay, and obviously Rashford scored after that. I do think Darwin Núñez is actually showing why we bought him for. Um, but I do think he is getting better,
mhm,
and I do think he is having a better season than was expected. But I do rate Darwin Núñez. I do think he is a Liverpool player. Um, but it is a shame with what happened yesterday because he is kind of getting a little bit of stick, which I think he's just going to have to take on the chin because it was his mistake that obviously led to the third goal.
Yeah, I agree. I think, someone outside of Liverpool, I think he's definitely growing this season. I think, obviously, you look at Mo Salah, the chances he took in the game, the first chance, obviously, when he scored that second goal. Like, I just think in time he'll definitely improve. I know, people are questioning about Salah not having the best game. What do you think? Salah looked checked out of the game. Do you agree? Or
Well, that was the thing. He played 90 minutes against Sparta Prague the other night, and I think every Liverpool fan, when you look at it, we were 5-1 up in that game. We were 5-1 up in that first leg. The tie was done. The tie was literally done. So the fact that I I know people will say Salah needed minutes. Yes, I do agree with that. But
mm,
I think if you look at the game as a whole, they're a very side. They were a very poor side, Sparta Prague. I do think Salah should have been off at the 60th minute mark. I've no idea why he played 90 minutes. And I think you kind of see that, yes, he did look a little bit out of sorts yesterday. But I think that was probably due down to the fact he played 90 minutes on the Thursday, when really he should have been off by 45 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's obviously playing a lot of time and it's affecting him, and that was a massive game. So I completely agree. And obviously, you mentioned before when Liverpool, got back into the game before the half ended, um, you did have that control. Like you were
Mm,
there were moments in the game where you weren't really doing a lot, and then all of a sudden you take your chances and you had that control. But I noticed that in the second half as well that you did good with Elliot, taking his chances. I know it was deflected, but if you work hard, you can make that happen. But when United scored, it felt like it was your errors that kind of made that happen. Do you feel like that's what let you down yesterday?
yeah, catalog of catalog of errors. Defensively, not the best. Defensively, not the best.
Mm,
Um, I agree with Chris there. I think the international break has definitely came at the right time for us because it allows us to get sort of players back.
yeah,
Um, and I think as well yesterday I thought Kwanzaa was probably the better of the two centre backs. I didn't think Van Dijk was great yesterday, but to be honest, I didn't think anyone in a Liverpool shirt was really really good.
mm,
Um, I thought Kelleher in goal had good opportunities as well. We literally lost that game because we basically were ahead. We were cruising, um, and we weren't complacent. It felt like every time we seemed to be trying to walk the ball in the net, trying to get that perfect goal. But obviously, Harvey Elliott scores. The third one. He has a shot. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle, as they say. So I think the real annoying thing was we didn't really test Onana very much.
yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, from what I was seeing, I think that that's something he could have done more. I mean, I think you did have chances. I know, like you mentioned, I think there was an
Mm.
amazing chance that you had, and I think Nunes it just went wide. And I thought, like you said, if that was 3-1 up, I don't see United get back in the game. I think they got back in the game because, when you don't take your chances, it does happen. And I definitely think they really wanted it more. And I did want to touch on Klopp because obviously it is his, last season, and there has been talks about who you think will replace him. I know that there was a comment up here, yeah, about. I want to just get your thoughts on this first about who you think will take Klopp's place.
I think I think the most popular choice would obviously be Alonso,
Yeah,
and we all know about his obviously ties from the club previous. Um, I have seen Ruben Amorim's name being mentioned as well, which I wouldn't be too mad against either. I think Ruben Amorim is a very good manager for Sporting Lisbon. Um, I think he seems to play the Klopp style of football as well. Um, I'm just devastated he's going. I'm absolutely devastated that he's going. But I understand why he's wanting to go, because I think 9 years in a job. Look, you're never the 26 years that Fergie had. You're never going to get a manager that does that anymore. I don't think you're ever going to get a manager to do that. Obviously, Wenger for you guys
yeah,
as well. So I think. I can understand why he wants to go. He's obviously a grandfather. He'll obviously won't have grandkids. He'll obviously won't go back to Germany for a wee
Mhm.
bit as well. Take a 1 year out, and obviously see what happens. If we're being honest, so I can honestly see Jurgen Klopp potentially being Germany manager later on in his career. Who would I want to take over? Well, there's two for you, Alonso or Ruben Amorim. I think out of the two, and because obviously I think Chris said about Michael Edwards, I think it will be Alonso, because what the job he's done at Bayer Leverkusen is nothing short of a miracle. I think they were bottom when they were bottom when he took over in the Bundesliga. Managed to get them, I think, almost to Champions League football. Obviously, managed to get them to the Europa League as well. But what he's done in a short period of time, unbeaten as well. You need to remember that as well. He's done a magnificent job. So I think if he gets the Bundesliga, if he gets the DFL Pokal, then there is a bit of a decision there. Do you want to stay one more season and sort of build on this, or do you want a new challenge? So
Yeah.
I think the logical choice would be Alonso, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see Amorim either.
Yeah, I think, those have been going around quite a lot. I think for me, what I've noticed with Klopp this season, he does look very like exhausted. He looks a bit tired of things, and I think, like you said, he's been there for such a long time, and I think he probably, wants maybe a year out of football just to be with his family, his loved ones. Because I suppose as a manager, you don't have a lot of time to do that because the schedule of football is so hectic. So I
Yeah.
do feel like obviously it would be good for him not to be here for other teams, but I do still expect Liverpool to be, competing every season like they have been. I want to touch on this. Des said Liverpool are running out of steam. Look, injuries have definitely affected them. They will not win the league. I mean, I think with the league, obviously, I do think it could be anyone's of like us,
Mm.
Man City. Like, I know we're at top on goal difference, but like, right now, I still don't know. I mean, obviously, I have a bit of hope that we can do it. I mean, Liverpool have got an amazing chance because it's Klopp's last season and you want to go off on a high as well as winning Europa League. But, with the league, like, at the moment, how are you feeling about it? Do you think Liverpool have got a better chance? I know Arsenal and Man City are playing soon. So if, either team loses, then that could be a good thing for Liverpool.
It's been an incredible title race. I would never have envisaged us to be in a title race. I'll be honest with you. Like at the start of the season, like many people could go back and to my Premier League predictions, and I actually said top four finish would be great. Maybe Europa League, maybe a League Cup, just like a trophy in the bag or two. I think to be in the title race right now with this amount of games remaining is just incredible. And look, two big teams in Arsenal, and Manchester City. Like I think you guys have been absolutely magnificent all season.
Yeah,
I think everyone's been kind of expecting that sort of that drop off that you usually have. I thought you had at Christmas when you lost at you
yeah,
lost to Fulham, but recently, I mean, you're scoring goals for fun. Um, I mean, what was it? Six at West Ham, six at Sheffield United, but that could have been any score. That could have been any score at that point. Five at Burnley. You're scoring goals for fun. You're scoring goals for fun, and I think as well, this is a kind of a team where you don't have a recognised striker. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus has been injured most of the season. You've obviously had to play Trossard there as well.
yeah,
I honestly think this could go right down to the very wire. Um, and as well, I have been actually noticing from looking at the fixtures, we've still both got to go to Manchester United. Now you've got to go to them on the second last day of the season. That is very tough. I know you won a title at Old Trafford before in the 2001 and '02 season. Um, but I know your record there is not the
yeah.
best. I think you've still got to go to Spurs as well. Actually, I think that there's three teams actually who could decide this title: Spurs, Aston Villa, and Wolves. All three teams have to play at least one of them before the end of the season. So it's going to be tricky. I don't think any. I don't think all of the teams are not going to drop points. I think there will be drop points somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but this could go right down to the final day. This could go right down to the final day. That Manchester City Arsenal game is huge. It's absolutely huge. I think a draw would not be disastrous. You know, you've already beaten Manchester City
Yeah.
this season as well. It's gonna go right down to the wire for me, and it's just a case of who basically slips up first.
Yeah, it's that game for me is going to be really difficult. I think, like you said, a draw isn't a terrible result for us. It's obviously, if you look at recent years, if someone said, "Would you take a draw?" Obviously, I would. But I think, obviously, if we drew, then that gives you a chance to catch up a little bit.
Yeah,
I do think we are good enough to get a win. But I do also think it's come to near the end of the season where they'll want to win that, having drawn with you guys. So it's going to be difficult. It really will. And I think with Old Trafford, it'll be good to obviously get a good result there. It's going to be tough, and like with Spurs as well, they're trying to get top four, and they still play us three, and it's going to be. I think it's going
mm,
to be tough. I do expect there to be, teams to drop points, definitely. And as I did mention before, you are in the Europa League as well. You've got the opportunity to win the league. I think the league's hard to predict at the moment because it's
yeah.
so tight, it's so close, but there is a chance you could win both. Are you feeling confident about winning both of them competitions?
Europa League, I think, is probably the one that I think we will probably look forward to the most. I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of us, Barkusen, probably AC Milan, were probably the favourites for that tournament. Um, like the league, I'm not looking at the fixtures here, and obviously after the international break, we always got Brighton, and we've actually got two home games in a row, Brighton and Sheffield United. So I look at those games, win both of them, that should be 6 points. And then it's obviously Manchester United on April the April the 6th. As well. I think as well, Europa League will obviously impact us, but the Champions League will definitely impact you. How are you feeling about Bayern Munich? Because I have seen a lot of I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans being a bit hesitant, like you know, I don't think this Bayern Munich side is as good as many people predict they are.
Yeah,
I don't think they're as good as last season. Yes, obviously they've got Harry Kane firing on all cylinders, but their team's not the best that they once were. I honestly think Arsenal can beat Munich at home, and then I think like they've got a really good home record. But the way you guys have been playing this season, I don't think you should fear Munich. I really don't. And obviously the same with Real Madrid and Manchester City as well. That is going to be one hell of a game as well. Yes, I know Tuchel's a cup competition manager, Chris, but what I'm saying is I just think the way that Arsenal have been playing in the Champions League this season, especially at home, I think we need to remember that. I think they can give Munich a good game. How are you feeling about Munich?
yeah. I'm just like when the draw happened, I was thinking, please don't be City because
Mm,
I think it'd be a bit boring just to play, an English team. It's nice to play a different type of team. When we had Bayern Munich, I wasn't excited, but I don't fear them. Like, I think this team can beat anyone. I know, if you look at Madrid or Man City, they're the teams that I think, oh gosh, like it's going to be tough. But I think with Bayern Munich, obviously at the Emirates, their fans can't travel, so that's obviously a really good thing for us. And we've got to fill, the stadium with so many Arsenal fans. Hopefully, we can get as many as we can. But yeah, I think the first leg, I think we've really got to go for it, considering
yeah.
it'll be at home. I think I'd rather the second leg be at home because I know for the Porto game, we're able to, fight out that win. But yeah, I feel quite optimistic about it to be honest, because when Arsenal were in the Champions League, it's not going to be like it used to be, where we would get beaten like 8-2 on aggregate.
Mm,
It's much different now. But with Harry Kane out Dyer, it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited about it really. I mean, I didn't expect us to win it, to be honest, and I don't expect us to, but obviously if we did, that would be incredible. I think it being at Wembley as well in the final, it kind of
Mm,
Arsenal do like to win at Wembley, so yeah, we could have had easier fixtures, but we could have had more difficult ones. I feel in the middle about it. I know a lot of fans were a little bit worried about it because of the past we've had with them, but yeah, I think we'll be okay. I mean, I'd rather be at home second leg. Arsenal need to put Bayern to bed in the first leg. Yeah, I think
mm.
that's the thing, because if we don't put them to bed and the second leg comes, then it's going to be a lot more difficult. Arsenal fans, would you rather win a Premier League or a Champions League? I mean, I've never seen Arsenal win a Premier League, so I would always say that. But yeah, I mean, Champions League, if we won that, that would be out of this world. I mean, um, but for you, outside of Arsenal, obviously we are in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Do you think we've got a good chance to win it? I know there are some really tough teams, and I suppose it depends on how the draws go. But how do you feel like Arsenal will do in the competition?
Um, I'll be honest. I think you've been very, very good. I know you've had some dodgy results. Obviously, Lons away. I think
Yeah,
that was one of those where they played very well. I think you drew with PSV as well, but obviously demolished them again at the Emirates as well. I think you've been playing very, very well in the Champions League. Um, I think you'll be happy that you avoided Atletico Madrid, because I think everyone uh, when I was watching that draw, I was like, yeah, the one team that people want to avoid is Atletico Madrid because of what Simeone is, and a very good manager, and Atletico are a very dangerous team, a very, very defensive team
yeah,
as well. So I think it would have been very, very difficult for you guys to play them. But look, I think Bayern is a very interesting game because I have not really been impressed with Bayern this season.
yeah,
I watch a lot. I watch a lot of the Bundesliga, and Tuchel's obviously leaving there at the end of the season. We don't know who's going to be taking over there. Alonso seems to be the favourite there for Bayern Munich as well, but I can't see him moving from Leverkusen to Munich. It just doesn't sort of make sense. Like you leave Leverkusen to go to Munich, so I can't see that. But
yeah.
it is the most Harry Kane thing to basically go to a team, and what happens? They get beaten by Saarbrücken in the DFB and now they're 10 points adrift of Bayer Leverkusen. Harry Kane, honestly, I don't know what it is, but whenever Harry Kane moves somewhere, all the teams seem to be
It's
Spursy.
like a curse,
Um,
honestly.
it's just it's absolutely mental. But he'll obviously be the big danger man for Bayern as well. And then obviously the semi-finals either Real Madrid or City. And look, you've already beaten City this season. As well, I think you've got a really, really good chance. I think you've got a very, very good chance. Um, I don't know if you'll have to juggle between obviously Premier League and obviously
Yeah,
Champions League, because
yeah,
that's the worry. That's the main worry. And I suppose it kind of depends as well when these games are um, as well. So could be very, very intriguing. I mean, obviously the you guys have still got Chelsea to play. We've got Everton to play. I think City have got Brighton to play
yeah,
as well. So obviously them games are going to have to be scheduled in as well. But I, I think you've got a really good chance to go far in the Champions League. I think you've got a really, really good chance to go
yeah.
far in the Premier League title race. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point about the Champions League, because if we say we get to the semi-finals and it's getting to that really tough stage with the league, I think we would really struggle to balance both.
Mm,
We should want, obviously, another team will want to win both. I mean, it's hard because, there's no guarantee that we will win the league or the Champions League. I think for me, I'm just taking it a game at a time. I mean, I think I think if we got to semi-finals, I mean, at the moment, I'm really happy with this because it's been a long time since we've been able to compete with these teams. So I think, I don't expect us to win it. If we did, that would be absolutely incredible. I do think the team could go all the way. I think we could get to the final, but it obviously depends who we have to play because there are some really tough teams in the Champions League. But it's hard. I mean, I do want us to focus on the league as well, but I think the league will be a little bit harder to win because it's such a long process. Because
Yeah.
we could win against Man City, but then we could lose against Brighton. It'd be an Arsenal thing to like be a big team like Man City and then lose to like because we have done that this season. We have we've dropped a lot of points to teams like Fulham. So there's no guarantee of these things. So it's going to be really tough. I was hoping for Arsenal and City in the final as a Liverpool fan, but if that's I could not deal with that. My heart would be pounding. I couldn't deal with all the Man City fans online. It drive me nuts. But if that's the semi-final, whoever loses the semi-final will take a lot out of them in the title race. Yeah, like you said, Doug. I think like if you get to semi-final and lose it, or it would drain you, wouldn't it, and make you so like exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly will. But I mean, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at like the fixtures here, and yeah, that Manchester United game on the 11th of May. I know that's likely to probably get moved to the Sunday because that'll be the pivotal one. But look, I think I think Arsenal have kind of shown this season that they've got a very good record against the top, well,
Yeah,
the so-called top six. I know people were adding Tottenham in there as well. Isn't it mad? Tottenham go to Aston Villa, win 4-0, and then go to Fulham and then get outplayed and get battered 3-0. Um,
yeah, it is crazy, honestly. I mean, yeah, I think it's just crazy how the Premier League is because like you can beat a great, top 16, but then you can just lose to a team down near the relegation zone or a team you wouldn't expect. And I wanted to touch on this comment because it is true though. I mean, I think if
mm,
with Klopp, having one title, I forget it's only one because I know he's done really well in the Champions League as well and you've got a few FA Cups as well. But do you think they would feel a bit disappointed if that's how he left with just one title?
yeah, it would be a shame if he just left with one title. Spursy. But I think people need to remember we have been up against a very good team in Manchester City over the years. Allegedly, obviously 115 charges allegedly above them. I'm not going to go into it because I think if you mention that on X on Twitter,
Oh God, everyone.
um, City fans will go after you. Um, they're an amazing team, Manchester City. They really are. Pep Guardiola is a fantastic manager. He's got a really, really good team there. He's obviously got De Bruyne coming back as well. I have noticed a bit of a vulnerability in City this season.
Yeah,
Um, Now, I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to be as defensive minded this season. They seem to be winning games. Like for example, that Chelsea game, they had so many chances. Chelsea go on the break and score. Sterling of all people, and then obviously they get the 1-1. They have been going through games this season where you like. I think they lost to Wolves as well. So you know, away from home, at home they're very very good. Away from home this season, they do look a bit suspect, and I think as well
yeah,
they are suspect of counterattacks. Now, I look at that game on the 31st after the international break. Arsenal have got players that can hurt City. They really, really do. City seem to be vulnerable to counterattacks. Now, you know, Martinelli against Kyle Walker would be a very interesting battle. Gabriel Jesus against
yeah,
Diaz and Stones would be a very interesting battle. And then obviously you've got Bukayo Saka there as well. I think as well you've got two of the best DMs in world football, and obviously Rice and
yeah,
Rodri coming up against each other. So I think if people, the thing is, if people attack City, they look vulnerable. If you don't attack them, then they'll play the ball past you, and then pass you to death. So I honestly think this season, if City do drop points, we're both going to have to take advantage. And look, goal difference could come down to it as
Yeah,
well. You guys have been scoring for fun. You are ahead on goal difference. Goal difference for me is an added point going into that final game. So could all determine on points difference and obviously goal difference as well.
yeah. I can't even predict it. It's so like competitive
Mm,
at the moment. I did want to ask this question, answer this because it's a really good question actually. Who do you think is the best team, or is it impossible to call? Do you know what? I feel like with every team, I do agree with Man City. I think De Bruyne coming back has obviously helped them.
yeah,
Haaland for me hasn't been as good as I expected. I think Foden has been actually better. I think Foden for me has probably been the star of the show. But Liverpool, Van Dijk as well this season has completely, you know, obviously Van Dijk had that really difficult injury a few years ago, and
yeah.
seems like he's getting back to himself again. I mean, there is an argument that every team is doing really well, but which team do you think has been the best team this season?
Um, and be honest, I don't think I I still think we've got another gear to go.
Yeah,
Um, to sit on the fence. I actually think the way that look City have been good. They're always going to be there or thereabouts anyway. But I
yeah,
agree with you about Holland. I think the three I think that are going to be probably up for Player of the Year: Declan Rice,
yeah,
Foden, and Van Dijk. I think they're the. I think if you were to put a list of Player of the Year contenders, I think those three, like you mentioned, I think that they're probably the best of the three teams. Yeah, Holland is. I don't. He's obviously had his injury problems this season as well.
yeah,
But I think people have kind of learned how to sort of defend against him. Um,
yeah.
I think you know look at what Liverpool did against City at Anfield. They snuffed him out. He had one chance. He had one chance against Van Dijk. Um,
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
I'd have to say I think this season Arsenal, because of the amount of goals you guys have scored, and I mean you're scoring for fun recently. I think you broke a record.
yeah.
Um,
I've lost count how many goals we've scored. It's been crazy.
there's something like 30, 33, 34 goals in like the last 7 games. Like it's
It's
bonkers. It's
mental, isn't it?
absolutely
Yeah,
bonkers.
I'm
But
like,
um, yeah, I think Arsenal have been the best team. But remember, it's not always the best team goes on
yeah,
and wins it. So at this moment, I'd say Arsenal, and then probably us, and then City. I think the way that the league is, I don't think the league table lies at the moment.
yeah. I think I think at the start of the season we obviously did well. We went through a really rough patch. I think it was good that we went through that then because it always happens at
Mm,
the end of the season. Like last season, we can't change it. So I do feel as though I think we've been playing the most enjoyable football, but if Arsenal didn't win the league, I would put Liverpool over Man City. I just feel like you said, Man City this season have been a little bit suspect, a little bit like, I do see other teams, scoring against them, even if they played like a Wolves or a Brighton. I could see Brighton, trying to get something out of those games. I think
yeah,
last season they were much stronger. Anywhere this season. So yeah, even though it's really close and it could go down to the last game, I do feel like Liverpool. I do feel it's more Liverpool and Arsenal that are a bit stronger this season. I know Arsenal last season as well. How it ended, it was a really good season, even though we didn't win anything. But I do feel we have improved the season. I know we've got Declan Rice and we've got Havertz, and I know Havertz. People didn't, weren't really keen on him straight away, the signing, because it was a lot of money. But for someone outside of Arsenal, do you feel like Arsenal have strengthened a lot this season?
massively. Declan Rice is a game changer for me. Um, obviously we've got Endo who's been looking really really good
Yeah,
as well. But I just think having Declan Rice there, if he got an injury, I would worry about Arsenal because I think you're that's the defensive midfielder that you guys have been wanting. And look, people can criticize Havertz. He
Mhm.
scores important goals. I think people need to realize that he has scored so many important goals, mainly winning goals as well. Obviously, the two against Brentford,
Yeah,
obviously at the G-Tech Community Stadium, and then obviously the one at the Emirates. I think as well, Kiwior,
yeah,
Kiwior. I think he's looked
yeah. He's growing in
pretty good
confidence.
recently, as well. I'll be honest. I think David Raya is now getting his flowers. I think he
Yeah,
deserves the credit that he's been getting recently. Um, I do think Aaron Ramsdale's Arsenal career is probably all but over. Um, I I don't think you can juggle between the two. I think you're getting Raya. I think anyway on a permanent as well. So again, that's going to push Ramsdale more and more down the pecking order. So I think Arteta knows his number one keeper. I think is obviously David Raya.
yeah,
But I think you have strengthened. I think you have strengthened, and I think as well. City's signings this season, Kovacic, Doku, they're average signings. I think with
mm,
Arsenal getting Declan Rice was a game changer. I think us getting McAllister has been very very good. I think Gravenberch has been good when he's been playing as well. Endo's been very good as well. Um, and as well, I think the one thing that's kept us in the title race, I think the sort of the fringe players have stepped up. Your Joe Gomez's, your Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott. They've really stepped up. Obviously, Connor Bradley now coming in. We've obviously Bobby Clark coming in, James McConnell as well. So I think Liverpool and Arsenal have strengthened really, really well.
yeah,
City, I think they look a bit weaker than last season. Now, I think Liverpool have probably got the bench to work. Yes, Keller has been
yeah.
has been brilliant as well.
Yeah,
Phil, absolutely. Obviously, Allison's been injured a while, but obviously Keller has done really really well this season. So I think Liverpool and Arsenal have strengthened really really well. City do look a bit weak, losing Mahrez, losing Gundogan. They're two big, big game changers.
yeah.
When they had them, you could think that they would win games with those two.
Yeah, I think that's a massive loss for them. I think with Arsenal signings, I think they've definitely clicked more than Man City's.
Hmm.
I think Raya and Havertz, it took fans a little while to warm to them, and I think with Ramsdale, I think Raya doesn't have the personality Ramsdale has. You see Ramsdale give it back to the away fans, which some people love or some people don't like it. I mean, I think for me it was lovely to see. And Raya, I do think that penalty shootout was really change people's perspective on him, because for me, like, I've always liked Ryan, I've always loved him, but it's been hard to see how Ramsdale has been dropped, because last season, I know, Liverpool game, he did make that incredible save against Mo Salah. I know there were goals that he could have done better on, but obviously this season we've seen him get dropped, and I do think his time at Arsenal is coming to an end. And do you see Ramsdale potentially next season playing for like a Premier League team? I mean, obviously, if he went to Spurs, I do reckon that his reputation between the fans would be gone. I mean, I just couldn't watch him play for Spurs. I think I do see him playing for Chelsea possibly, but I just don't know. What
Mm.
do you think?
It's a strange one with Ramsdale. I, I don't think he'd go to Spurs. I can't actually remember the last player that went from Arsenal to Spurs. I know that obviously Sol Campbell did it famously, but I no, Chelsea's an interesting one because I think Petrovic, the I don't know what nationality he is, but I know he came from obviously the MLS Petrovic, but
Yeah,
he's been pretty good for Chelsea in goal. I think he's been really really good. Obviously, they've got Robert Sanchez, who I don't really
yeah,
rate.
I don't. Yeah,
Uh,
is that good?
no, I don't think he's as good as. How can you be like third choice at at Brighton and then like
Uh,
go to Chelsea. But um, I I don't think Ramsdale ends up at a big six club. I'll be honest. I don't. Um, it's it's so difficult. Maybe a West Ham.
yeah,
Maybe a West Ham. Like obviously Areola is there at this moment in time. He might be tempted to move on. Um, I think Declan Rice might have a good wee thing to say to Ramsdale if West Ham do come in for Ramsdale. He'll give them a good because the West Ham are a really good football club, and um, I think as well Ramsdale would be a very good signing for them. But so difficult, so difficult to say
yeah,
what
it's
club
hard.
he'll be at.
Yeah, I know that a few weeks ago I did see that he could be going to AC Milan. I mean, I could see him going
Mm,
somewhere else, but it's hard, really. I mean, I, yeah, I don't really. I mean, United have just got Onana. I think Onana. I don't think he's not what I thought he would be. I think I watched him in in other leagues, and I
yeah,
just don't think he's been very good. I mean, he has gotten a little bit better, so I don't know if United would change that. But yeah, I agree. I think I could see him go to like a West Ham possibly. West Ham have actually improved a lot this season.
yeah,
Losing Declan Rice, like your captain, a very crucial player, they've had to really develop and manage that, and it mustn't have been easy for them. So yeah, I reckon that will happen. We'll have to see what happens. But Doug, before we do round the stream up, do you want to just tell people a bit about your content? I know you're back doing YouTube again, which is great. So yeah, give yourself a little shout out to those that are watching.
yeah. Well, as many people know, I did become a father. Yeah, 5 months ago. It has flown by. It has absolutely flown by. We Nathan is doing it very well. Um, but yeah, my YouTube channel is literally a basic football channel. Trying to cover as many things as possible. Obviously that's obviously had to change because obviously the new arrival, but. No, I'm still getting the content. I seem to be doing more sort of shorts at the moment. Um, I did a wee preview of Sophie Richards from Ladies in Red. So she's obviously just became a mum as well. So yeah, that was a good wee preview because we did our first video as parents. So that was very good. But yeah, basic football channel, Premier League. Try to do Champions League. I am going to be probably doing sort of more international stuff because obviously the Euros will be coming very soon as well. But yeah, my YouTube channel is the Dugger Football channel. So please come and check it out.
Yeah, I love that. So please do subscribe. I know you're nearly at 3K, so I hope you guys could all do subscribe. But I'm really glad you've all enjoyed the stream. Lovely to see you in here, Phil. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, and it was lovely to chat with you all. But yeah, thank you so much, Doug, for coming on. I had such an amazing time. It will be really interesting with the season. I definitely think you can win the Europa League. I think you're flying through it. I reckon it's too easy for you. So, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I reckon you can win that, honestly. But yeah, it's been such a pleasure having you on today. Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you, Sophie. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you to everyone in the chat for making me feel welcome. It's been a while since we've done something, so it's good to get something done in the international break and just basically chat football. I love chatting football. And yeah, I just hope the end of the season will be a very good one. I think there's still, as I said, I still think there'll be twists and turns. I don't think any team will not drop points. I'm pretty sure there will be drop points somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but just enjoy it, and see what happens. And as I said, if City drop points, we have to take advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, whoever wins, I think you still got to enjoy for now, enjoy the ride. For me, I've always said if Arsenal don't, I do hope it's Liverpool because we've seen City win it a lot as well when it does get a bit repetitive, a bit boring. So I do feel like it should, and it would be a fitting way for Klopp to go with, a second title. I think that's what I'd like to see if Arsenal don't do it. So, yeah, it's definitely very, very exciting. But I've really enjoyed doing this. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do hit the like button, do subscribe if you are new, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.
Cheers, everyone.